Welcome to the fourth episode of my podcast, My Identity is in Christ, an Artist POV. This is the second last episode of this season, and I am so excited that we've pushed through so far. And I'm also very grateful for the support consistently that I have been receiving from everyone. I am so grateful for that. I also post snippets on TikTok on this page, and you can go listen to that there. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about learning to fly after falling short. What happens after the transitional phase, or what happens when a season of your life changes or moves, or you just open a new chapter in your life and you find yourself in a stage or an environment that is not familiar to you, and you have to adapt to that environment. This episode is inspired by a lot of things that is happening in my life, and it's such a situation that I have not conquered yet, and I'm just working through. And I've just also found that God has been convicting me of some things that I'm genuinely still struggling with. And I really just wanted to talk about that stage in your life where you find yourself in a state that is not familiar to you. You're no longer where you used to be, or God has abruptly moved you to a new environment. For me, He has recently moved me to a whole new city where I don't know anyone. I'm literally so new to everything. If you were to ask me where town is, I wouldn't tell you. I've not even been to town. But I've also been in a stage where I'm also living in answered prayers. I am living in a bigger space. I have those things that I've always wanted, and I also have to adapt to having them. I have to adapt to having a whole new schedule. The things that I prayed for, that I told God, if you give me these things, I'll be able to do this and this and that. For me, I will also explain it in the next episode, because that's when I'm going to be doing my overall testimony video. That also includes the testimony that comes with me starting this podcast and the results of me starting this podcast. When I started this podcast, it was just an idea that I just felt like a big burning in my heart, and I believe that this one idea that God really gave me, because it's not a familiar thing for me. I do not feel comfortable sitting in front of a camera and talking about God and everything, because I always feel so, I think it's that thing where you would feel like you don't qualify also, but also you don't want to speak something that might deter people away from God. You don't want to, you can be so passionate about something but approach it the wrong way. It's always that thing where I don't want to make a mistake on such important thing that can affect someone's soul. If you told me last year that I would do a Christian podcast, I would have been like, I think you're crazy, because it's just an idea that God has been burning in my heart so much that He actually also gave me all the names of all of my episodes a month before. I believe it was in April when I got the titles of all the episodes in this season, which is why we only have 5 episodes in this season, because that's all I got. And I'm not gonna push it and try to create an episode outside of what I received. I want to handle this work with so much diligence because it's very important. One thing that I had asked God when He gave me the idea to start the podcast was, I don't have space. Where I live is so dark. My environment was really, really dark. There was no like bright sunlight coming in through the window, and the space was like that of a matchbox. And it was a blessing for that season, because I was coming from an environment where I had much less, I wouldn't say much less, because the place that I was coming from was bigger than that space that I was living in when I started this podcast. But I was coming from a space where I had an opportunity to live a better life in that season, in that space. But it also came with me stopping to make content as authentically as I was doing and as I would have loved to. And when I started the podcast, all I wanted was space, the ability to make content in my own space, the ability to wake up and have the sunlight, shining on me. That is so good for lighting when I make content. And I started the podcast with so much faith that I don't have all that I need. I don't have the aesthetics for the podcast, but I'm gonna start and I'm gonna trust that God knows why. It was not that thing where I was like, I am so sure, I am so certain that God is gonna do this for me next month. As soon as I start this, He's gonna give me this really nice apartment and I'm gonna have all this space and everything. I started thinking, I'm gonna work with what we have right now and trust that God knows why I have to start now. And that was my heart posture, and little did I know. So with that being said, I now no longer live in that small space, but it also comes with maintenance. I have to make sure that I have a really clean space. That is such a priority for me right now. I want to be happy in my space. I want to be consistent, especially with previously not being consistent with anything. I was not consistent with anything. So now I have to learn to fly in a different environment. After feeling like I was falling short in this and I was falling short in that, I don't want to fall back into those old habits of always wanting to sulk about my life, always just being inconsistent about everything, procrastinating, and all sorts, because it will jeopardize the gift that God has given me, because He has called us to be faithful with the little that we have so that He can give us bigger things. I just happen to be in a season where He has given me something different, something much bigger than I had. So now I have to learn to maintain that I have to learn to fly and to flourish in this season. I have to transition well, and I've been doing my best. I love my environment. My environment looks amazing. My closet looks amazing. My kitchen also looks nice. I have been trying to be consistent in that. I've not found myself to have the schedule that I want, but I actually wanted to talk about this topic mostly because it's very vulnerable. I have to talk about also my shortcomings in other areas of my life where I have found myself just sulking. For instance, Saturday and Sunday, because I don't go to church now. I have not found a church and I really want to take my time. I want to know that the place where I'm going to church is somewhere where I feel comfortable, where I have a good community. So I want to take my time finding a church. Sunday and Saturdays, I am free. I'm at home. But I found myself wanting to be more productive, also because God has given me more responsibility. I have a podcast that I have to be consistent on. I now also have to go back to doing content, to do sewing vlogs, to do like get ready with me vlogs where I'm styling the clothes that I made. I love doing those vlogs. I was so disheartened when I was living in my previous environment because I couldn't do those vlogs because the space was way too small, and also it was really, really dark. But God has moved me into an environment where I'm able to do those things. But it also comes with the responsibility of managing my time well, which is something that I had been so poor at, and I'm still poor at, and I'm working so hard to get better. For instance, this Saturday I was supposed to do this podcast. I was supposed to do laundry. I was supposed to do spring cleaning in my space, and I did not do the spring cleaning. I did clean the space, but it was not the spring cleaning that I wanted to do. I was supposed to film a sewing vlog. I wanted to make a scarf and post it on YouTube. I actually had started doing that video on Friday and it was supposed to be filmed on Friday, but I procrastinated so much. I came back from work earlier than I usually do, and it was the best time to be productive. I was not productive. I didn't finish the scarf making video, which I was excited to do, and I thought to myself, I'll do it on Saturday. Saturday comes and I wouldn't even tell you what I did on Saturday, to be honest. I just took naps. the whole day. So I moved those responsibilities over to Sunday. And then Sunday, I still woke up late, around 12, 1, 2. That's when I was doing spring cleaning. That's when I was doing laundry. That's when I was like trying to hurrying to do everything. And I finished so late, and I'm filming this podcast episode around this time, which was not the original time to film the podcast episode. So I am just in a season where I've seen like my habits so highlighted, and just recognizing that no, I need to learn to fly. I cannot be a caterpillar in a space where I am no longer a caterpillar. I cannot do caterpillar habits when I'm no longer a caterpillar. It's like a butterfly season right now, not a caterpillar season. I must not be a slothful person. It is a sin to be a slothful person. I need to read Proverbs. But I've learned that it is very difficult to move from an environment where you had so little. You were more negligent of a lot of things, of managing your time. You procrastinated a lot, and God moves you to a season where you have blessings, but you also have to be more productive so that you can maintain those things, so that you can be a faithful steward of what God gave you. And in a situation like that, we also tend to feel so condemned. We feel like we are falling short still. We feel like we need to learn to do the most basic things that come so naturally to other people. Other people, they are so natural at just waking up super early, making sure that they do what must be done. My mom is good at that. My mom can wake up early. Like, why am I struggling so much? I can't even use that as an excuse to say, I'm just so tired. I've been waking since Monday to Friday. I need to rest a little bit more. And I've been just feeling that I need to start to pray to God and ask Him to help me to want to sleep less. Also, tiredness is not normal. Like, why do I constantly feel tired? It's not normal, right, to say, I worked the whole week. I need this Saturday to just be a time where I rest. And rest is not a bad thing. But then when we rest too much, it can be that thing where you can feel that you are being attacked by the enemy, because it does not want you to be fruitful with your time. He does not want you to be accountable to your time. Like, why am I constantly feeling so tired? The enemy does not want us to be productive with our time, so he just makes us so tired. He constantly tries to pull us back to our old habits that were not good for us and are definitely not going to be good for us in the season that God has moved us to. And that will probably cause delay. That's when you find yourself stuck in one space, because we're so stuck to our old habits of doing things, or we're struggling so much to adapt to a new environment, and then we end up feeling so condemned, like we are falling short, like, I don't know what's going on with my life. Why am I struggling so much to do this? It's really hard, especially when you are not in a space where you can talk to someone about it, or you can just like talk to people, hang out with people. It is such a difficult space to be in, but I think for me, what I'm learning is that I must rely on God more. I must go back to praying more, because if I'm to be honest, I've been slacking there too. I don't know if it's the new environment. I don't know if I'm just like feeling overwhelmed about everything, but I just feel tired all the time. And I get it. I get why I'm tired. I just moved. I was on the go days before I moved. I feel like God moved me so abruptly. I was lying on my bed the other day and I thought to myself, last night you were sleeping in your old place, and tonight you are in a whole new province, in a whole new space, living in a space that you dreamed of. Like, how is that possible? That's when I learned that God can just abruptly move you. But what happens in a state where God abruptly moves you to a new season and we are not prepared for that season? and we just feel like we are falling short. We feel like we have to learn to fly, we have to learn to adapt in a new season. This moment has also been teaching me about preparedness, how it's important to always prepare for a next season, even in the season that we currently are in. Because we don't know when God is gonna move us. We don't know when He's just gonna abruptly say, it's time to go now, pick up and leave. I learned that in my old environment. I knew I was leaving a month prior to me leaving, but I was in such denial. I didn't want to go. I wanted to stay there. I just felt like I always dreamed of staying in this city. Why am I moving? I don't know. I'm not sure if that's what God wants for me. He knows that I have this and this and this scheduled in this city. I have things that I need to do here. This summer, I already have planned things. Where am I gonna find fabric stores and all sorts? And it took one of my colleagues talking to me and just encouraging me about my move, where I felt that God used her to open my eyes. And when I got home, I'm ranting a lot in this video. I feel like I'm just talking about a lot of things that I'm struggling, but I'm really hoping that everybody can relate. He gave me a verse in Isaiah 50. You will notice a lot that I read Isaiah a lot. It's not the only book that I read, but I just find this book so comforting. This is the verse that God gave me. It says, "Behold, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are continually before me. Your builders make haste, and your destroyers and those who laid you waste go out from you." And in another translation that I read from, not this one, which is ESV, it actually said that those who will build you are coming soon, and those who destroyed you will leave. And I found it so comforting because I loved that city. In that season of my life when I was in Pretoria, I had a community of people that I love, and I felt content there. Was I thriving? Definitely not. But I did feel content knowing that I had people in my life in multiple facets, and me being taken out of this environment, I felt like I was being ripped from that environment. I feel like I was in this caterpillar land where I had to be ripped from my environment so that I could fly elsewhere. And at the same time, I didn't see it that way until I read that Bible verse. And it was such a wake up call for me because it just made me realize that as much as I had those things, as much as I had that community, I also felt so miserable. And it's not anyone's fault. It's like when you are a circle trying to fit in a square, or you're a square trying to fit in a circle. God can see those environments slowly destroying you, and you don't even see it that way. Not because the environment in of itself is bad, but because you are a square and you're trying to fit in a circle. But He wants to take you in an environment where you will be able to fit in, where your purpose will align with the people and environment that is bringing you to. You won't feel lost. You won't feel like someone in a corner just watching things just play out. You won't always feel so uncomforted. That's when God will be able to bring you into an environment where He can rebuild you. And He actually says that in Isaiah 54. He says, "O afflicted one, storm-tossed and not comforted, behold, I will set your stone in antimony and lay your foundations with sapphires. I will make your pinnacles of agate, your gates of carbuncles, and all your walls of precious stones." And it just shows how God sees us. He sees us like us little small people. I sometimes I just see myself as this small little one in a corner, like so insignificant. Though I'm not insignificant, right? I am important to God. But you might feel so insignificant in a mass of people. When you read these Bible verses, you realize how important you are to God. It allows us to be so motivated to adapt in a new environment because we trust in the one who brought us there. We trust that even though I wanted this but it's hard for me, I trust God. I am going to put myself in a space where I will be prepared to the more that is bringing into my life. I'm not going to slack. It's not easy for me to be consistent. It's not easy for me to learn to build new routines, but I want to be in a space where I am being prepared to move into another environment where God will be moving me. Because if I don't prepare, I am going to be moved in haste and I will jeopardize everything that He has done for me because I'm not prepared. Esther had to prepare for 6 months. I believe, was it 6 months? 6 months plus. I need to go back to reading that story because I feel like it's very significant in this season where I found myself that when I was in Pretoria, I didn't prepare for this environment. So now I'm in this environment and I want to be able to prepare for the next environment that God is taking me because He's constantly moving us to new spaces, new environments, new seasons. You know, life is comprised of seasons. We don't just stay in one season forever. We are always being prepared. We are always waiting for something from God. But that doesn't mean we must not enjoy the moment. We must not be happy where we are. In fact, that's why we must be happy and enjoy the moment and enjoy where we are at because it's not going to be forever. Like, I'm only 26 for so long. I'm not 26 yet, but I call myself 26 because I'm going to be 26 in August. I'm only going to be 26 for a year and then I'm going to move on to being 27. The things that I will have in 27 are not going to be the things that I have at 26. The problems that I have at 26 are not going to be the same problem that I have in 27. I must enjoy being 26 because I'm only going to be 26 for so long. And then I'm gonna be moving into a new season of that year. And it's the same with new environments. We must enjoy it, but we must also learn to be diligent with our time and that environment. But there's no harm with seeing our weaknesses. It's such a beautiful thing that I'm seeing where I'm weak at, because where I am weak, God is strong and He's able to also strengthen me in that area. And I think I'm also at a state where I am developing interest to learn new skills. I've been sewing for a while and I enjoy it, but I want to learn more new skills. I want to strengthen other skills. I want to be a multifaceted person, multi-dimensional in my personality and my skills. So I think I'm in an environment where I'm able to learn. I'm starting from scratch. I have room to make mistakes, but I also have room to grow. I have room basically, and it's just reminding me of a verse also in Isaiah 54 that says, "Enlarge the place of your tent, let the curtains of your habitation be stretched out, do not hold back, lengthen your cords, strengthen your stakes, for you will spread abroad to the right and to the left, and your offsprings will possess the nations and will people the desolate city. Fear not, for you will not be ashamed. Be not confounded, for you will not be disgraced. For you will forget the shame of your youth, and the reproach of your widowhood you will remember no more." It's such a comforting verse. It's so scary to be in a new environment because you are scared to fail. And I think that's what I've been feeling too. Like, I've been so scared to fail. I've been so scared of falling back into my old habit. I found myself falling back into old habits and just feeling so terrified of that. And it's so beautiful that God has already written this book for us. He already speaks to us through this book. He tells us to not be afraid, that He will strengthen us. He will uphold us with His righteous right hand. He will guide our feet. Where we are weak, He is strong. And that is something that I'm currently clinging onto in this season, that I will hold on to God right now. I will learn to have a prayer schedule again. I don't have it at all. I will learn to have a worship schedule. I will learn to do my quiet time with God. I recently have just been blessed with a whole closet where I can just get inside the closet, close the door, and be quiet. It's not a natural thing for me to be in quietness, and it's something that I've been practicing the past couple of days. I've not gotten to a state where I can just sit in complete silence, but I can play worship music and just decrease the volume and just sit in silence. I've also been in a state where I'm kind of ignoring being silent with myself. I've also been ignoring to talk to God about certain things. It's just that situation where life hits you so hard that you're just silent. You're just there like, I don't want to acknowledge that. It's too overwhelming for me. I'm going through so much right now. I don't want to acknowledge that. I don't want to talk to God about it. But being able to just sit down and be quiet with God, it allows you to confront those things. And I am hoping that I will get to a space where we can just iron out those things. We can start to heal from things that we've been ignoring. It's such a blessing to be able to start from scratch, to start from a clean slate, to build back that routine again, to learn to do something that you are not consistent with. It's not easy, but it's a blessing. But I want to do it so well that in the future I will look back and just be grateful that God has helped me through that situation, that I was not afraid to confront it, that I confronted it head on, that even when it was hard, I kept pushing and pushing and being consistent when it was not common for me to do that routine. Another thing also that I've been doing regularly every night is my skincare routine. I know it sounds weird, but it's that thing where I want to take care of myself more. I want to do my hair more. I also just recently braided my hair. It doesn't look its best, but I like it. It's refreshing, and I also wanted to expose my scalp because I want to do a scalp treatment. I want to moisturize my hair. I want to have access to my scalp so that I can moisturize my hair more. So for now, I'm gonna be doing this type of hairstyle, and I think I look nice in it. I do. And I've been doing more of a skincare routine. The reason why I started doing this is because I am moving into a new environment where I have my own sink and I can be so consistent with my skincare routine. I enjoyed to do that. And I just feel like my skin is also glowing lately, and I'm gonna show you the product that I've been using. Okay, I am actually back with all the products that I've been using for my hair and my face. For my hair, I've been using this olive mirror. It's old, okay? It's old. It's well used. It's an olive miracle hair breakage formula oil. I've been using it for so many years. I get a lot of questions about what I use for my hair. I've been using this for so many years and it works so best. And I've also recently started using the anti-breakage cream, hair cream, olive miracle. You can find it at Clicks, and they are so affordable because hair care products are so expensive. This one, I believe I got it for 40 something rand, which is so affordable. And I also think this one was also 40 or 40 something rand. It's very hard to find this, and I got it from Clicks. And for my face, I've been using the Rooibos face bar. It actually has salicylic acid, baobab, and bioactive rooibos. The reason why I mentioned what it has is because I just found that my skin was getting clogged a lot, so I needed salicylic acid in my face wash cream. And I also got this face wash. I don't know if you can see, it's like a face brush, and the back also I use it for like right here and on my nose and right here, kind of like, just go like and then right here, because I just find that I have a lot of dead skin cells right here, and my face has been glowing. I recently had a breakout, and that was what caused me to be like, hey, wake up, your face is getting messed up. For my hair also, I use this Demasol shampoo. I can even get other Demasol products. I've just not gotten around to getting them. I just recently moved, so finance a little bit. but I think I might get more Demasol product. The reason why I am bringing up the self-care products that I'm using, the hair care products that I'm using, because I've just felt so called to have more consistent routine with my face, my skin, and drinking water and so on. So being able to be in an environment where now I have access to these things, I can have consistency in the things that I love to do, taking care of myself. I also love to take care of my hands. Like, I love to take care of my hands. And it also falls in line with preparation, right? Being able to prepare yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally for God to present you in a new environment where He's supposed to present you to. And it's so amazing, it's so beautiful. For instance, so here in Esther 2 verse 8 until where I will finish, it says, "So when the king's order and his edict were proclaimed, and when many young women were gathered in Susa, the citadel, in custody of Haggai, Esther also was taken into the king's palace and put in custody of Haggai, who had charge of the women. And the young women pleased him and won his favor. He quickly provided her with cosmetics and portions of food, and with 7 chosen young women from the king's palace, and advanced her and young women to the best place in the harem. Esther had not made known her people or kindred, for Mordecai had commanded her to not make it known. And every day Mordecai walked in front of the court of the harem to learn how Esther was and what was happening to her. Now when the turn came for each young woman to go into the king Ahasuerus, after being 12 months under the regulation for the women, since this was a regular period for their beautifying, 6 months with oil of myrrh and 6 months with spices and ointment for women. And I think to myself, these women were taken into a space where they were going to be beautified for months. They were being prepared to go meet their king in 12 months, and they must be fully prepared mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, so that they can go meet the king. How many snuck in and binged it? How many messed up their routines and whatever, and then the process of preparation were not as effective? Esther was a poor orphan living with her uncle, so they were not rich. They were just servants. Basically, they didn't have much. So now they were taken from a space where they didn't have much to a space where their life changes. There's a possibility that your life can change forever. You can be a whole queen. You are coming from a poor space to a space where you are being prepared to possibly be a queen. Are you going to stick to a schedule that they give you? Are you going to stick to the routine that they gave you, the new routine? Are you gonna adapt to the things that is being given to you? Are you gonna take it like a champion? This woman was taken from a space where she had so little. She probably didn't have those resources that she was now presented with to be able to beautify herself, to be able to make herself look nice. I bet they were not only taught beautification, but they were being taught manners. They were being taught a new way of living. She was learning a new routine. Like, she's going to be a queen. The last queen was dethroned because she didn't have manners. So I can imagine that those were the things that they are being taught. And I look at a situation where you are being moved from this space. You have now transitioned into a new environment, and this is a space where we are able to prepare for the next environment that God is taking us, because now we were at a space where we didn't have resources, we didn't have much, but God has brought us to a space where we will have resources, and we have to learn to manage them well. We have to learn to maintain them, upkeep them, be a good steward, even though it's not easy for me at all, because I'm like, now I have to value my time, like my life depends on it. I've also been convicted to not do the headsets too much. I love to have headsets in my ears all the time. I've been training myself to just be content without listening to anything, to not have headsets all the time. And it's not easy, but I'm willing to slowly let go of them to the point where it's not going to be bondage anymore. Because to be honest, I feel like those headsets were bondage for me personally. But I want to go to a state where they won't be bondage anymore and I can just voluntarily pick them up and listen. But it won't be bondage anymore, And I'm learning and I found myself that I'm using them less and less and less. And I hope I don't relapse. I'm able to go out from where I'm living and run errands and not use them. And I'm proud of myself. Because if we put ourselves in Esther's shoes, we are princesses because our God is a king. We must be able to present ourselves exactly who we are, which is princesses, because our Father is a king. I think when we get to know who we are and who our Father is, it allows us to be able to present ourselves the way we actually are. The one person that I look up to so much, who is a woman in the Bible, is the Proverbs 31 woman. Not everybody is called to be a Proverbs 31 woman. She's just a good example of how diligent you can be with your time. That woman was so diligent with her time. She was thoughtful, she was intelligent, she was strategic. She didn't waste time, she planned for the future. And it's funny that on my Bible, the heading of that scripture is the woman who fears the Lord. So this is what it says. It is Proverbs 31, and I'm going to start at verse 13, which says, "She seeks wool and flax and works with willing hands. She is like the ships of the merchants. She brings her food from afar. She rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With fruit of her hands she plants a vineyard. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. She puts her hands to the distaff and her hand holds the spindle. She opens her hand to the poor and reaches out her hand to the needy. She is not afraid of snow, for all her household are clothed in scarlet. She makes bed coverings for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, where he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them. She delivers sashes to the merchants. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she loves a time to come." I'm not going to read the whole thing, so I encourage you to read Proverbs 31 verse 10 to 31. But what I wanted to highlight was how diligent this woman is with her time. We all get 24 hours of time. I have been wasting mine. It's been flying like, it goes like for me, and it's embarrassing. Sometimes we have to be willing to admit our shortcomings so that we can learn and we can grow and we can be diligent with our times. Growth will not be linear, but it will surely happen. I'm willing to be dedicated to growing and learning and seeing myself being more diligent with my time so that I can be trusted with more resources, because I don't think God will be able to trust us with more when we are unable to maintain the little that He has given us, right? And Esther and this Proverbs 31 woman is the women who valued preparedness. They prepare. That's why in this verse says that she's not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household are clothed in scarlet, which means these people have a mother who is always prepared for anything. Like, she doesn't sit and say, "I'll deal with tomorrow when tomorrow comes." She doesn't take today's problems and make them tomorrow's problems, And it also says that she laughs at the time to come, which means she's like, "Come, I am prepared for you." So those are my role models in the Bible, because it shows that it's possible to learn. It doesn't just happen like poof. There are people who are like that, where they just have strength in those areas where they're able to manage their time. But then there are other people where we have to work a little bit harder so that we're able to manage our time. So for me, it doesn't happen like poof, but I am learning. I am going to be flying in this season. So yeah, that was pretty much this episode. I just wanted to kind of like, it wasn't even a venting session, but I really hope that it was a blessing to you guys, because I know that I'm not the only one. I know that it's hard to deal with a new season, and it's not even about a new season. It's just that where we are at, I think it's important for us to be prepared for tomorrow because we don't know where God is taking us. I saw it with my own eyes where I was sleeping in one place. The next day, God had moved me to the next place, and that night I was sleeping in my new environment. So we don't know where God is going to take us tomorrow, so we must always be prepared. So that is that episode, and I will always repeat that I share my shortcomings so that you guys can see that I'm not perfect, but I am growing with you. This is not a podcast of how to get to perfection, but it's a podcast where we are able to go on this journey and we are growing together, and that tomorrow we will not be the same person that we were yesterday. And though growth, healing, life is not linear, we have so many hiccups, we have so many shortcomings, shortfalls, or whatever. Like, life just does happen. We're able to go back to these episodes and listen again. At least that's what I do. I make these episodes, but I listen again because I feel that there are times in our life where we need that message again, where we are too weak to get up on our own and we need encouragement. I'm in a season where, other than God, I don't have anyone who can encourage me. I'm only holding on to God, and I also have the opportunity to go back to this podcast episode and listen again so that it can encourage me. For instance, like David encouraged himself in the Lord when he was despised, when he had just come back from war and they had raided the camp and took the wife and the children, and everybody was turning against him. So he had nobody else to encourage him, so he literally encouraged himself in the Lord. So yeah, that's literally this episode. I hope you found it helpful and insightful. So I will see you in the next episode.